So how was your first experience? You were starting to tell me about your first experience in Romania with the association before starting with Strabism.
We first started, let's say, at first I didn't have an association. I just came here starting to do some work where I could help. First when I first came here, it took me a year or two to understand a little bit the Romanian nation. I used to work, before coming here, I was in South America. I was in São Paulo, in Brazil. And there I had a project with Delinquent, working with FEDEM, which is a foundation for the protection of minors in the state of São Paulo, in collaboration with the Secretaria de Crianças, which is the state secretary of children. And we had seminars in the prison for the prison officers and program for the delinquent. Then I had the opportunity to come to Romania because I had some friends. We communicated, and I felt like I needed a change from South America, so I came here. You see, it takes a while to understand why people do things the way they do them. It's very easy to have a shallow, superficial look on things. Everybody can do that. But I felt like if I want to be of a service to this country, and I came to stay, I've been here for nearly 15 years, I came to stay, I need to understand what the nation went through, how young people think, how old people think, what happened, and so on. So it took me a while to really understand. And when I started to understand, I realized that Romania is really a beautiful country. Really beautiful. And I think this is where I will finish my life. This is the country I've chosen to live. And I'm not talking about perfection. Perfection does not exist in this world. But I felt like it must have been quite something to survive under 40 years of strong communism here. And I think it has affected the way many people are thinking. You have to be affected by such an environment. And it takes a while to pull out, to change. And I also realized that that was my first realization that actually Romanian in general, especially young people, are very smart and quite educated compared to some other country that I won't name, but it's a real plus. It's very often you can find young people that speak 2-3 languages and they have 1 or 2 masters and they study this and this and they really, it's really a nice place, it's really a nice country, lots of potential. Of course, to develop this potential, I think we need people, maybe a little accepting you, people that realize that things need to change, and we need to have a plan how to change things. It's not enough to say things need to change. We have to have a plan. How do you create a polarizing force that's strong enough to turn things around? Well, what you do is you make a circle, and you go in the middle, and you start here. That's where you start. You start with you. You have to start. And then you have to build a network of like-minded people. People that are looking to make things better and that can commit their gift and talent for a greater purpose at certain degrees, because you cannot expect people to be so sacrificial and so giving, but at least partly. And together you can start. Like this campaign is a very good example of how it is possible. Like all the outdoors you see were donated by people that cared, and actually people that felt that maybe they themselves had to fight cancer or they had relatives with cancer, and they saw in us an opportunity to do something good, and they worked and they fight to be able to have this exposure. This was done by another company, those flyers, and it's like everybody is working together. And I feel this campaign, in a way, goes far beyond building a genetic lab. is building a network of arts,
Yes.
of people that there will be something lasting. We can build more things. And ultimately send a signal that when you take responsibility for your life and you realize you have a responsibility toward your fellow man, and it is good to reach out to others. When you give, you receive. You understand those principles. You realize your life is richer, is better, and things do change.
Yes, when every part of this circle works together,
Yes.
the circle is stronger, and then things can change faster, because you can't work alone for once. And I think it's extraordinary how this project came to life. And as you said, the panels, the outdoor panels, where we had the campaign, I'm thinking that maybe there were people that thought, why not make a profit and give this away? I won't make any money. I think it's really interesting what makes someone says, okay, I don't need the money for this. I think it's best for others to raise awareness about this campaign. I think that's the trigger that is really important, and learn how to, click the button.
It's in a way, my wife and I, Christina, she's Romanian, and working together, we've been working together for, actually I met her the next day after I came to Romania.
So
I know
she's not the reason you came to Romania?
No, I met her after I came here. So we met about 15 years ago. And something we've noticed is that, and I know it will sound like a cliche, but it's not a cliche. I believe that in the heart of everyone there is a desire to do good. It's there. It's sleeping. For some reason. It's like a bit like archaeology is buried. It's a treasure that's buried. It's buried with what? Things. Desire. Then also selfishness, pride, fear, all kind of things. But it's there. And for some people, they don't even, it's so buried that it looks like it's not even existent. That's why you meet people and you think there is no way. But there is not one person, believe me, that there is no hope for that person. It's just a matter of the right ingredient, the right moment, the right purpose. And we have to understand that God cares for each one of us. And He is there for each one of us at the right moment. Now, to go back to this campaign, what happened is that when the people we've met, like even this morning we had an incredible meeting and we heard about this lady that's very difficult in business and nobody likes her, but she suddenly is completely changed and open and supportive, and when we listen to her we realize, yeah, of course she's a woman of value, integrity and serious, and she has so many good sides. It's like some people, they click. It's a little bit like you have a key that activates something that was there all the time. It's not like you created it. It was there, It's like a bit like a catalyst that's bring the thing to fruition. Now to go back to this project, the way it started is that about 6-7 years ago, we were working at the Institute of Oncology, which is close to Funden. And we were having a project there with children and with the parents. And we ended up renovating the rooms and the reception centers. To make the long story short, of course we had to raise the funds and everything, but we managed. And 5 years ago, someone asked us to do something in Funden. We'd never been really to Funden. We were just at the Institute of Oncology. So we met the professor, Arion, incredible man. I mean, I was so impressed. He did over 300 neurotransplant. He's a very incredible surgeon. And his assistant, Anka Polesa, which is also a very interesting woman because she's one of those people that decided to actually stay in Romania and dedicate their gift and talent to help children with leukemia. It's a wonderful thing. So when we started, we just had kind of therapy program with the mothers and with the children, organizing their like you say, Sabbatoli, you know, for Easter, for 1st of June, for Christmas, visiting them, if anything they needed. Maybe they didn't have money for remaining. This is actually an incredible thing. They don't have money for medicine or remaining or things like this. So because we got to know them, we started to help some families, and we developed a social program on the side because of this, you know. And then finally, 2 years ago, we decided to renovate the section for children, sugar section for babies, little children. So we did, probably saw it on the site, we did the 6 rooms and the bathrooms and changed the furniture and everything. It was really, really nice. And another very interesting thing is we're looking for a company to build the furniture because we wanted to solve the issue with the beds. Because up to 3 years ago, the mothers were sleeping actually in crib, in baby bed. You know?
Yes, I know. The mothers sleep with the baby.
In the baby bed. Yes. So we solved that issue by creating a very nice crib and a bed that's open for adults. And so it was a very nice idea. But the company we work with, we had so many possibilities. We went to this company, we found this. This one is very interesting. There is this book called The Secret, you know, how things sometimes are orchestrated in such a way that you think is just changed, but it's not. Nothing is changed. Everything has a purpose. You just have to understand it. And if you see God in everything suddenly makes sense. It's beautiful. The owner of the company and his son, the son was actually, 20 years ago, was actually found with leukemia. And was in that section for I think 2 or 3 weeks. So for him to be able to help to renovate that section was like a little bit like redemption, you know. So he gave us a very good deal, which we were able to finish it. And when we finished the section, we had a discussion with Professor Hagen and Anka and said, okay, what is the greatest need? And they said the greatest need in this country right now for leukemia is diagnostic. We need to be able to have accurate, on-the-spot, serious, exact diagnostic. And the only way is to use an equipment that works with molecular genetic within the DNA. Said, okay, what do you need for that? So they explained to us that they had a microscope, but no platform. There was a situation a bit complex, and they had the equipment, and I don't exactly know the detail, but basically what they needed at that moment is the microscope and the platform and the reactives. So reactives that allow them to be able to tell, you know what it is. So at that moment we didn't have this kind of money, but we were able to raise some funds and we bought the reactives for Funden. Like now the reactives they are using, it's what we bought. Which is a bit of a paradox in a country where actually it's not our job to buy reactives. It's because you can't use them twice, you know. So it's so then we had this dream to get this platform and this microscope, and we started this campaign.